What if I told you that the forgotten god of the lambs in Cult of the Lamb is actually a zombie forced to bring about the end of the world? Hey Sharks, my name is The Dedicated Artist, or Courage Media Group on the YouTube channel. Some people like to use my nickname BP. I still have to discuss that with them. But today we're seeking 10,000 subscribers and your support to invest in the silver play button, and as well as many more years of theories. So, what do you think? Well, I'm feeling very British today, and I'm in.
You have me sold.
I don't know why you have a box of cereal, but I'll take it. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Animated Cartoon Conspiracy Theory, the show that is animated and not all about animated shows, although I do like those. But today we'll be doing another game theory, but on Cult of the Lamb. Now, on the channel, I'm not a stranger to doing any type of indie games that I find wildly interesting. In fact, we were one of the few channels that actually had a Cult of the Lamb theory made when it first came out. But Cult of the Lamb had a massive update, and I mean massive, so big that it actually counts as a brand new game inside of the game that we already have. And the DLC that I'm talking about is called Woolhaven, where everything is really cold and winter comes. And as I was playing through the game, I realized that some of my old theories might have to change a little bit. Maybe some were wrong. And not only that, we have new characters that establish the lore even more so than we have even before. Like, why is the God of the Lambs trapped in the statue? Who is this wolf character? And why has the lore of the crowns changed? So before you jump into this theory, make sure you put on your thinking cap, not that one, and go back for one more crusade through Cult of the Lamb. Now, before I address any of the new theories that have come out because of the Woolhaven DLC, I have to talk about how the Woolhaven DLC actually confirms my Ratau theory, or at least part of it. In the original Cult of the Lamb game, there is this fox character who is seemingly hidden throughout all of the different places you can visit, but every time you visit him, he asks for some type of sacrifice, but the more you meet him, the more he asks for. And in the original game, the biggest thing and the last thing he asks for is Ratau's soul. Now, for those that haven't played Cult of the Lamb or hasn't touched the game in a while, Ratau is the tutorial character. He teaches us how to play the game, he shows us the ropes, and even tells us how to use our own crown in the game. So why would this random fox with a hood hide around all of these different places just to ask for Ratau's soul in the end? Well, if you remember, Ratau didn't want to be a crown bearer and wanted to escape everything dealing with the old faith. So instead of taking on the mantle that the one who waits was trying to put on him, he gave it to you, the last lamb, hoping that you would change it better than he could because he did not have the wherewithal to do all of the evil deeds that needed to be done. But in the Woolhaven DLC, it actually makes the connection between the fox and Ratau all that much more clear. In fact, he's back and has different spots inside of Woolhaven that you have to meet him at and give him more things. You'll give him rotted followers and a special someone that you have unlocked inside of the Woolhaven DLC, and we'll go over that later. But when you do, the fox says something important. He says, "If you had been my leader instead of that spineless rat, well, these lands would have been reshaped. I will take my leave now. I have some lamb to enjoy, but this is for you, great beast of the night." After all, Ratau has no need for it anymore. He saw to that. This single line of dialogue not only tells us that Ratau was originally the crown bearer for the Red Crown, but because his heart was too pure, he had lost a follower that fought him along the way, that being the fox. Now, in the Cult of the Lamb, there is a structure that goes on for everybody that is considered a god or has a crown. Every single bishop has a witness, and those witnesses help control the followers. So it's very possible that Ratau's closest follower, the fox, being a witness, wanted him to be propelled to the top of godhood. If you go back to a line of dialogue from Ratau when you sacrifice him, he says, "No, don't trust this murderer," only solidifying the fact that the fox wanted Ratau to become a god, but he had disappointed him and thought that he deserved nothing, which is quite dark. But as of what changed between the original theory that I made and the Woolhaven DLC is not much. The only thing that changes is that Ratau probably didn't make a bargain, but he only made the gamble that you would be the one to change everything. But speaking of changing everything, the Woolhaven DLC adds so much context to everything that we had before this update even came out. So let's talk about Ygnya. Ygnya? I don't know. In the Woolhaven DLC, you're introduced to this character known as Ygnya, and it's really just a statue that has life essence embedded inside of it. When you first talk to her, you learn that she was the god of the lambs, the same lamb tribe that you were a part of when they slaughtered all of them. And this is because of a prophecy that was given about the old faith, saying that a lamb would come and rewrite everything. So you know what all the members of the old faith did? They got rid of all of the lambs that they could, but one was saved by Narander, the one who waits. He saves you from death, Ratau gives you the crown and teaches you how to use it, and then you get rid of the old faith, just like the prophecy said. But winter is coming, or at least that's what Ygnya says after you meet her. She tells you that she created Woolhaven for the sole reason of having a safe place for all of the lambs. So your mission throughout the Woolhaven DLC is to return all of the lamb lost souls back to the god of winter. And by doing so, you restore Woolhaven to his former glory, or so you think. See, the DLC forces you to go find her most loyal disciple's soul and return him back to Woolhaven. When you do so, then you fight the big boss, the person that has been taken home in the mountain that she once claimed. But when you first meet her, she says that she just wants to recreate her home and bring everything back to the way it was. But the more souls that you bring to her, the more that gold changes. It starts to become twisted, and she says that the whole world must pay for the suffering of all the lambs. But what if I told you that the person that took out all the lambs was a disciple of one of the persons of the old faith? But those that have played the game might think that I'm talking about Hagar, the executioner, the one tasked with literally executing all the lambs. Well, she was actually a small part of it. The one that actually rolled all of this into motion was one of her own disciples. First, let's talk about the person on the mountain. Since the god of winter has basically been murked and nothing else lives there, somebody came in and took over her place of stay, known as Marchosias or Marchosias. Honestly, these names get harder to pronounce as it goes on, but continuing, he is a person that refuses godhood. In fact, he staunchly wants to find his own way. And this is even found throughout the enemies that he controls, called the Free Pack. All of these characters have technology and electric boxes, meaning that they have chosen science over godhood. And even the legend that Marchosias is based on depicts him as a dog that is super loyal, which is ironic considering that the one in the game rejects everybody. But there is somewhat of a reason. While going through the mountain, you might find some research tablets that come from his lab, where it suggests that he has some connection to Shamora. It says specifically in research tablet number 3, "I will not lose this place, the pack, my mind, to this, I will not end up like Shamora, useless, mad, broken, unworthy. I will not let it end here." This actually connects to the fact that Shamora was actually the god of knowledge and war. But if you actually go back to our old theory, we actually go over the fact that all of the bishops did a ritual in order to seal away Narander for good, because they were going against the old faith, and to ensure that the prophecy never came true. So each one of the bishops gave up a part of themselves that made them powerful in the first place. Shamora's sacrifice happened to be their mind. Seeing how Marchosias loved that part of Shamora, they did not want to see themselves go down in the same way. It's also because of the prophecy that Marchosias was the one that took out the god of winter. But how did he do it? See, although Marchosias seems powerful, they do all of the different technology and research things on their own, using charge shards to get everything done. But in order to make a weapon worthy to defeat a god, you had to get inside help. Or outside help. See, remember how I said that you had to save all of Ygna's disciples? Well, one of them, named Rami, actually left for a long time. And this is actually inside of one of the tablets that you find when you give Zario his quest items. And when you do, you learn in the tablet titled Rami the Charred, we learned that Rami was an outraged youth that did not want to be isolated. So one day, they left and did not return for years. But when they came back, they were changed and burnt terribly. Which is kind of weird. You don't leave for a while and just come back burnt for no reason. But if we go back to Marchosias' research tablets, specifically number 2, we know that they were working on charge shards. But they were trying to create gauntlets that could do something dangerous. These gauntlets are literally titled in the game the Defiler of the Divine, and you don't name something that unless you're trying to defile the divine or destroy them in the least. And the only way to find this legendary item is behind a statue of Ygnya, behind Marchosias in the final boss fight. And when you bring that legendary item back to Rami, Rami has nothing to say. In fact, they're so distraught that they don't even say anything. That's because Rami is actually the blacksmith for the whole town, possibly meaning that when they left, they bumped into Marchosias, who needed gauntlets created specifically to destroy a god. And Rami, unknowingly betraying Ygnya, learns that the gauntlets were used to take away their god of winter, leading all of the lambs to be slaughtered, meaning that the call was coming from the inside the whole time. Now, while playing the Woolhaven DLC, I did realize that it has a lot taken from the story of Jesus. Jesus was known to travel with disciples, 12, while Ygnya has 10. Ygnya created Woolhaven as a place for all of the lambs that follow her to be safe and peace. Just like how Jesus proclaimed a new heaven and a new earth, that in the end of days, there would be a possible Armageddon that would destroy the earth of the old ways. Wait, but Ygnya didn't want to do that. Or did they? That's where the rot comes in. And then the rot within the game is just this extra thing that you have to collect and use in order to stay alive during the wintertime. But the more you go on, the more you learn that it's actually taking over the mountain and infecting Marchosias. We learned that the rot was spreading because the disciples of Ygnya chose to make that happen. Because of their suffering due to the old faith and everybody around them for destroying everything that they used to have, they wanted revenge on the world and chose it upon themselves to take the heart of their very own god and try to make a new earth, which is nothing like how Revelations is supposed to have like some big battle between good and evil. In the end, you're able to convince the disciples that this isn't right, because at the end of the day, they were hurting their own god in the process, because all Ygnya originally wanted was peace, and they twisted it to an evil form, which became rot. But there you go. It's a classic twist of the Jesus story, with Rami being like Judas, the disciples being like, well, the disciples, a rot symbolizing Armageddon, or the retribution of a new earth coming soon. But is that a coincidence? I think not. And if you like videos like this and more, make sure you check out all of the different videos on the YouTube channel, or why not go ahead and watch the older theory so that way you're caught up on everything dealing with Ratau. Now, of course, see you in another video. Bye-bye. Peppa Pig is a part of a vampire cult, and not only does she not realize it, it's all being ran by her playhouse school teacher, Madame Gazelle, as she raises up children to feed off their energy forever.
Mummy Pig, I'm scared. Peppa, there's no reason to be scared. Just stick with me. Oh, children, you have nothing to worry about.